Hi there, I'm Jules, and I'm here today to run you through the ins and outs of painting a deck. Joined by Stephen Sheehan from Paint Aids Limited, also known as POW. So Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure, Jules.
And I see you've brought along some goodies with you to
Products.
get us started. Now there's an interesting array of products you've brought along. I'll start with this one because this looks the most fearsome, and I suspect this might be one of the ones that we need first. Good old fashioned wire brush, so when would we use this?
Well, on this deck, Jules, there's a lot of lifting paint. It needs a fair bit of tidying up before we can actually start. So we'll need to get down and give it a good scrape, get off any loose flaky paint, and then we'll go on to the next process, which we can use that, or the next product, which is a stripping knife, and we use that to just lift any other flaky paint as well. So you want a nice, clean, even finish on the deck. Preparation is probably the hardest part of doing anything. It's going to be about 80% of our time, and then the good part is the end when we get to paint it all, make it look sweet and beautiful and clean.
I know from experience that preparation just seems to go forever and ever, but if you skip a step and...
Skip a step, you probably will pay for it when you stand back to review it, and you'll be disappointed with what you've actually done. So prep work is the most important work to get the perfect finish.
So while it is tedious, keep at it. Now you've got a couple of what looks like sanding blocks here. One's made of cork, one's sort of a spongy material.
The cork one is, you can wrap sandpaper in it, you buy your rolls of sandpaper from a hardware store.
Yep.
The dual grip one is a soft spongy pad with, it's actually got a grit on it, Jules.
Yep.
So you can actually just use it water, or wet or dry I should say.
Yep.
And that just gives you a good little finish. It's a disposable throwaway pad as well. Nice and easy.
Okay. And you can see in our deck we've got a few holes and a few cracks and a few chips. I guess that's why you brought the old contract filler along.
It's a good little filler. If you've got small holes to fill, especially like on the deck, you want to fill all the small holes, the nail holes. Yeah. You can actually put it on. You can be painting in about 15-20 minutes of actually applying it. So it's apply today and paint today, more or less.
Cool. And what looks like another scraper, but I see it's called a putty knife, so that would be where...
Putty knife's great for filling holes and windows, but today we'll be using it on the deck, and it's just good for filling little cracks and nail holes.
Cool. And probably one of the first things that we'd start with removes mould. If you've got gunge, mould, mildew sitting around in places, squirt a bit of this on.
Yeah, it's probably the first thing you want to attack on the deck. You need to look at, have we got mould on the deck? We need to give that a good clean off, and it's probably best that we do that the day before, because we need to spray that on, let it soak in, give it a water blast or a wash off, let the deck dry. So it's probably important that you look at what your deck actually needs to be done, and then design the products, or buy the products to do the job as you go along.
Cool. Now I see you brought a few other products. Once we've got all the tedious preparation work out of the way and spent some time on that, we get into the fun stuff now, so we can actually start painting. We've picked our colour, we've got our paint, so I see you've brought a few other bits and pieces. And what's this little wee gadget?
This is just a paint can opener, because the majority of the paints, you're going to be using a lot of paint on the deck, so you're going to be opening and closing the pail quite a bit.
Yep.
And those pails are quite hard to open, so it's just a quick little plastic pail, a 10 litre, 20 litre pail opener.
Yep. And saves the old screwdriver slip.
Yes, and wear and tears and broken nails as well, Jules.
Yep. Speaking of pails, we've got a looks just like a small bucket here.
It's a little plastic paint pot. Coming out of those big 10 to 20 litre pails is a bit hard to use your paintbrush, so you pour about half a bucket full of paint in here, and you can use your brush, and it's quite easy to transport and move around as well.
And I guess it saves on paint drying out if it's left alone in a
especially
bigger quantity.
The painting outside, the paint does tend to dry off, and it does tend to skin, so you want to be keeping your big pail closed and just use your little pail and give it a quick mix up all the time. So if you want to keep mixing it up, you've also got one of these, Jules, which is just a little paint stirrer, so we can stir the paint up and keep it handy. We can just keep topping it up on with the
handy little clip there, so it clips on the side.
Clips on the side of the pail, yeah.
Great. And of course, to keep the better half happy, I guess one of these would come in handy from time to time.
Yeah, well, you need it around the edge, because if you're going to be splashing around a bit, especially with this paint, so you don't want to be getting on mum's good rose bushes or good garden ornaments, so it's best to cover those up, and it's a good disposable, cheap throwaway drop sheet.
Yep. Cool. And thinking this was a drop sheet as well, but I see it's disposable overalls. Why would I
Well, Jules, you've done a lot of painting in your life?
I have.
You have? Well, a lot of people haven't done much painting, so it's a bit messy. Some of the jobs are a bit messy. You don't want to ruin your good clothes. So we just have those. It's disposable. It's not too heavy. You don't sweat too much in it. So it's good. You can continuously use it and then just dispose of it at the end of the day.
I see. It's I guess be ideal for maybe a spray application. It's hooded and has all the elastic bits and pieces as well.
Fully covered. And even when you're painting above, if you've got a pergola or something, you want to paint above it. It's you get paint everywhere, unfortunately.
Yep. So it looks like you've brought along a very small, short type of roller and tray set with a couple of very, very fluffy rollers. What's the deal with this, Stephen?
This is our 150mm. It's a new one. We've only ones on the market with it, and it's good for just. This deck's got quite skinny boards, so you don't want a big wide roller. You want to be working the paint into the boards and down through the cracks. So we've designed this little mini 150mm tray set just to work on those small areas that need a bit of extra attention. The roller sleeves, we have a variety of different pile heights and a variety of different rollers designed for each surface. And these ones are designed for water-based paints, medium to rough surfaces. So this one here is a 12mm pile height, and the one you've got in your hand, Jules, is about an 18 to 25mm pile height. So that gets down in the grooves and the cracks. So looking at this deck, it's an old deck. It's actually opened up a bit, so we want to be getting the paint down between those grooves. Otherwise, you just see the black paint on the top and then the old colour,
the bare boards
sticking through on the sides. Yes.
Yep. Know what you mean.
We also have the tray, which suits the product as well.
Cool. So, Stephen, as an alternative to brushes and rollers, I noticed you've brought along the Powell Original Speed Brush. Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
The original speed brush came out in the 1960s. It was a flat pad. Powell was the first to introduce it. It was an American product. It's got a foam pad here and it had little bristles on it. We've adapted it since, about 10 years ago. So it just takes the foam pad and we've introduced it with a fabric on it, which is the same as what we have on the roller sleeve. So that helps hold the paint, and it's quite a thick pile. So we've got an 18 to 20mm here. And that helps get down the grooves as well. So it's just as good as the roller sleeve, and it works perfectly on the decks.
Yeah, and this particular one with the depth of the fabric, it's obviously going to get down the sides and all the little corners and whatnot.
Yep, you put a pole on the end of it, and you really work it into the deck and into the grooves. It's a fantastic little product.
Yep. Cool. So, Stephen, I see you've brought along the Fence Master combo packs, so they're 50mm and 100mm. Now, this is a synthetic filament. Can you tell us a difference about synthetic and, I guess, natural?
Well, the original paintbrush is made out of hog. Hog is a pig. It's a wild boar pig. So, but over the years, it's slowly tapering off, and it's more designed for terps-based paints. With the introduction of water-based paints, we've had to go and source a new type of product, and we've got the synthetic brush. So you can get a variety of different synthetics. You get hollow synthetics and solid round synthetics. So you go from mid-range price right up to really expensive Legend, which is what all the trade guys use. But on a deck, it's quite a dirty environment, so we've gone with the Fence Master one. You can use it. You can use the 50mm in the cut in, and the big 100mm to clean all around the big areas. So it's a good little product. It's purposely designed for water-based, so it's designed for what we want to do today.
And the synthetics, I believe they have the tip of them is quite unique.
It's a split end, so it's a bit like human hair. The ends are split, and that helps hold the paint, and it helps brush it out and give a nice even flow.
Right. Cool. And I see we've got an even smaller version of our 150mm roller sleeve. This is the Powell Fence Trellis and Deck Easy Reach Roller Kit.
It's an extension of the other kit we had, so it's the same pile heights, the two different pile heights. It's a small mini one. It's great because a lot of decks nowadays have seats and things around them, so you've got little posts and things. The 150 is a bit too big for doing the posts, so if you've got little pergolas or pergolas, it's great for doing those little post jobs. So it's an additional kit. It's quite handy all around the decks area, and especially even along the trim around people have a lot of trim around the decks as well. So good handy little product.
Cool. So Stephen, to help get some more distance and length out of these rollers and the speed brush, you can use one of these poles.
Jules, on a big job like this, you actually need a pole because otherwise you're on your hands and knees. So grab a good pole. You want a variety of good poles around. This is the aluminium pole. It's a good twist lock one. You can adjust it quite quickly.
Nice and light too.
Nice and light.
Yep.
We also have the wooden pole. and we have the little easy reach pole, which this one's quite a good little one. It actually extends out, so even a small little unit like that, you can actually get down and paint the deck. The advantage of poles, you put more pressure onto the deck, you're actually getting the roller to work harder. It's very hard on your arm just rolling at a short distance, so the poles give you more leverage, more pressure on the job, helps you get down through those cracks, makes the job a lot easier.
Well, thanks, Stephen. That's a good look at all the power products that you've brought along today. Now let's crack into it and start painting.
Pleasure, Jules. Looking forward to it.
Excellent.